fantastic food. One of my personal favorite places to eat is actually in Holland, and it's called Hops. They have the best sandwiches ever. Like if you like good hot sandwiches, I had this, they had some kind of pastrami thing, and I was like, oh, so good. Now, I love Grand Rapids. However, there's some things about it compared to Holland you're really gonna wanna know. Hey, welcome to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. For things to do and sights to see, this is Live Great TV, and I am your official host, the official host of Living Great in Grand Rapids and the West Michigan area. My name is Vaughn Greathouse. Today, I'm gonna be talking about Grand Rapids, living in Grand Rapids versus living in Holland, because I've done both, born and raised in Holland, lived in Grand Rapids, so I know the scoop. I know exactly what to expect as far as what you can expect when you're coming to live in either one of these areas and why some of them are more appealing than others. There's a lot to consider, to take into account whenever you're deciding if you're in between one of the two. And I want to dig right into them. I typically, when I do these videos, I get a lot of people that reach out to me. So my email, my number is going to be right on the screen. Feel free to reach out to me directly. I'm happy to help. I've helped tons and tons of families get over here smoothly. I have a lot of testimonials and whatnot that you can check me out online to see exactly what that's gonna be like for you. I want to be able to help you and give it to you straight. Sometimes I'll script these videos, sometimes I don't. Today I'm not gonna script it, and I want to give it to you straight from the heart, straight from somebody who's been here, who's lived in both towns, to give you the scoop on what you can expect in Holland versus Grand Rapids. All right, to give you an overview of the video, what we're gonna go over today, we're gonna go over the weather, we're gonna go over the people, activities, the homes, transportation and jobs, food and culture, as well as my own personal thoughts as far as where to live or where I would personally live. And it's coming up right now. Let's get right into it. All right, first and foremost, I want to talk about the weather. Okay, so year-round, we have the 4 seasons in Michigan in general. Midwest, that's kind of the thing here. It's pretty exaggerated here in Michigan. We have the 4 seasons, fall being my personal favorite. We get to see the leaves change. We get to see a lot of different colors throughout the year. So it's a really great thing just to take in all the beauty in West Michigan. So if you're not from a town or a place in particular where you see a lot of those colors, it's a really fascinating thing, so you'll really get a kick out of it. Now, when it comes to the weather in Grand Rapids, usually year-round, it's pretty nice. So let's just say, for example, it's wintertime. And in the wintertime, we're typically seeing colder temperatures in Grand Rapids. However, we see a lot more snow in Holland. So Holland has that lake effect snow where they might get a bunch of snow out in Holland, and Grand Rapids is kind of like, hey, we didn't get hit with the snow, and it's just business as usual. So that's a really great thing to come into account. So if you like snow and you want to be in Grand Rapids, you're gonna get less of it than if you're in Holland. If you don't like snow and you want to move to Holland, you better figure something out, because there's usually a lot of snow that comes throughout the year because of the lake effect snow. So that's just something to keep in mind. However, the municipality is usually really good about salting the roads, keeping them clear, because we don't want to be stuck in our house all the time. They know that it's just a normal thing, and so they kind of have it down packed as far as, you know, what to do when it snows, you know, putting out alerts. The news is usually a part of all that to give you a heads up on when there's going to be a winter storm warning or a winter storm coming to the area. So that's something to keep in mind. Summer months, I have to give it to Holland, simply because downtown Holland is awesome. You get a great vibe out there. We have a lot of people who have second homes in Holland, so you have a lot more people who just enjoy themselves throughout the summer, hit the boat, go to parks, walk downtown. A lot of little boutique, cutesy shops that are out there, such as Glicks and, you know, some of those other places like JB and Me. These are some different places downtown Holland that you can have a really great time doing some shopping, hanging out. It's a really laid back, easygoing type of vibe that's out in Holland. Compared to Grand Rapids, in the summertime, you're usually seeing a lot more hustle and bustle, a lot of festivals and events. That's one of the things that we're going to get into. A lot of activity in regards to the weather. So that good weather brings out a lot of new people coming to the area that have heard about it. They usually know that they're not going to get dumped on full of snow, so they come on out and enjoy the weather here. Today, I'm outside and it's somewhere in August, and it's about it's pretty warm. It's actually around 90 degrees, which is not common, but it does happen out here in Grand Rapids, and pretty much it's the same thing out in Holland. So as you can see behind me, I'm on the Grand River. A lot of people come out and fish during the summertime, and it brings out a lot of good energy out here, and it's a great place to be during the summer months because you can hit a lot of the nightlife and not have to worry about being cold. So it's a great thing to keep in mind as far as the weather, Holland compared to Grand Rapids. Okay, let's get right into the activities in Holland versus Grand Rapids. And let me just start off with Holland saying that it's all about Tulip Time. Tulip Time is a huge festival that's usually in May in Holland that is a huge Dutch celebration of Dutch heritage. And so they have a lot of people come from all over the world actually to really experience the Dutch heritage. I even have a client, shout out to Joe, who moved from another state to Holland and was just fascinated by how much history was here. Him and I had a really great time, him and his family. We just enjoyed ourselves as he was moving to the Holland area, and he's Dutch, so he has a lot of Dutch heritage, a lot of things that he may or may not have known out there. So it's a great thing if you are of Dutch heritage or you have just a fascination with it. You're really gonna get a kick out of it because we actually have the second largest windmill in America, and it's a really cool thing to go through it because I actually went and did a walkthrough of the windmill and got a real good experience doing that, just to get to know where I was born and raised a little bit better. And that's a really big festival, Tulip Time. They plant over 2 million tulips all over the city, and it's a great highlight for people who want to come out, enjoy the festival, get an elephant ear, watch some Dutch dancing. They have the street scrubbing, they have the huge parade, fireworks. It's a great time when you come out to the Holland area. That's one of the biggest festivals that they have. Not to forget to mention that they have the farmers market, which is usually a really big deal. A lot of times, even in the Coast Guard, if you're going more up the coast to Grand Haven, they have the Coast Guard Festival, which a lot of Holland people go out there and they have a really great time as far as that's concerned. Being on the water, hanging out, kind of being a beach bum for the day. A lot of people camp. It's a great thing as far as activity-wise out there in Holland. Another great thing in Holland is going to be Dutch Village, where you can actually pay, I think it's like $12 or $15 for an admission, and you can actually walk through Dutch Village to see a lot of they preserve a lot of the older Dutch history in regards to some of the music that they had and some of the towns, the architecture, a lot of great things at Dutch Village that you can really enjoy. You actually feel like you're out in another country once you get there, which is really awesome. Those are a couple of the highlights in Holland. Now let's talk about Grand Rapids Festival. So Grand Rapids is bigger. We have a lot more people here, somewhere around 200,000 to 300,000 people in the Grand Rapids area, living. And ArtPrize is probably the biggest festival in Grand Rapids. And that brings in usually over 250,000 people to come to the area, see a lot of the art. I don't know if you can see behind me, but there's a huge mural right here. We really love our art here in Grand Rapids. So it's a great thing to see some people who bring their pieces. Some people will do even art pieces inside of the Grand River to showcase some of the things that they can do. Some of the mines that come out to the area, usually around September timeframe, middle September. We have a lot of people who just come out, show their work, and it's mind-blowing, literally mind-blowing. From photo art to dance to all sorts of things in regards to people showcasing what they can do artistically. It's where they thrive, and the city welcomes that. They really want to pull in the people who have those gifts and talents. So if you're someone out there who has art, you want to put your piece in the ArtPrize, tune into the channel or shoot me a message. I believe you can go to ArtPrize or just Google it and find more information about it. Not to forget to mention, we have things such as Founders Fest, which is a huge deal every year, usually around June. The Founders Brewing Company, it's like a big brew celebration. So people who love craft beers, they come out. Oktoberfest is out here. We have the World of Winter during the winter time. So we year round, Grand Rapids is like a huge fun party, fun place to be. So there's always things to do. Not to forget to mention, if you just simply go on Facebook Marketplace, you can catch so many events. You can catch people at the Van Andel Arena. You can catch them at 2020 Monroe GLC Live. It's a great area where headline artists will come to town. A-list people, I'm talking about Justin Bieber, I'm talking about Garth Brooks, I'm talking everybody, really anyone who's making a headline tour that's super famous comes to Van Andel Arena. It seats about 12,000 people. So it's always great to know you're in a place where your favorite band or your favorite artist is coming to town and you can catch a show without even going anywhere. So it's a really cool thing to keep in mind. And it's the second largest city in Michigan. Okay, so let's talk about the people in Holland versus the people in Grand Rapids. So with Grand Rapids being bigger, it's a bigger area, you're gonna get a lot more diversity of people in Grand Rapids, just naturally, because there's so many more people in Grand Rapids than in Holland. So it goes to show that you're gonna have more diversity of age. We have a lot more colleges here as far as people are concerned, as far as the age range. We have a lot of people who retire here who end up getting condos and things downtown because they want to live that life. Maybe they've had a house for 30, 40 years and they're like, you know what? Let's go do something different. We're retired, let's live downtown. And they just have a blast out. It's a great place to retire. I've even done a full video about what it's like to retire in West Michigan. So make sure you check that out if you're thinking of retiring in Grand Rapids. Generally, people in West Michigan are really pretty friendly. As far as that goes, they have something called Michigan Nice, which is something that's like, I just am learning about this, so I'm not 100% fluid on exactly what it is. But it's basically Michigan Nice as being like, people are just super duper nice all the time, which is something that's like, well, people aren't nice all the time. So just something to look out for. It's something I've heard, someone mentioned it to me, and I thought it was pretty fascinating. I was like, I guess I can see what you mean, that people are nice all the time. But it's also one of those things to remember that there's a lot to be, it's really laid back here. There's not a lot of hustle and bustle. This is not a New York. This is not a Chicago, Miami, a Houston. This is not a big city. So you get a lot of small town people in the surrounding areas that actually come to town, want to do something a little bigger, a little better. So you have a little bit more of a competitive marketplace here. We have a really great healthcare system as far as Corewell Health. They're one of the best in the nation. So you also have that as far as some of the people and the things that they do. But overall, it's pretty straightforward. Most people are just kind of keeping to themselves for the most part, not really rude. I don't think that you see a lot. There's rude people everywhere, but you don't really see a lot of people rude. You usually get a smile or a wave. Sometimes they're just easy going out here. So it's a really great thing to keep in mind. It's kind of like Southern hospitality, but in the north, and it's really great. And I've had a lot of great reviews and testimonies from people who have moved here from different areas, and they're like, you know what? I make friends really easily here. I talk to people and it's just like natural, and it's just almost like a sense of family here, which is really cool, knowing that, I've lived in other places and it's just hard to meet people. And that's one of the things that a lot of people just either forget or, really don't take into account unless they've moved somewhere that they're not used to, and then they go to a town where they're like, can't meet anyone. So with the things of interest that you might have, you can make friends easily here. Go out to dinner, go out to play golf, or go out to do some art, whatever it is that you like to do. You can definitely find your people here in Grand Rapids. Okay, now let's talk about the people in Holland. Holland is going to be a lot smaller. Holland is going to be a lot more, people who have similar interests that are there find their people. So a lot of times when I think of Holland, it's like generations of people who've lived there, and with it being smaller, a lot of families know each other, and it's just kind of like something you notice. So it isn't as easy to meet people in Holland because there are a smaller amount of people, which gives you limited things to do. But I will not forget to mention that there are a lot of activities and things to do in Holland that you can find more people that are like you, things that you like to do, a lot of things as far as like church, people who go to church. They have a really big church community in Holland, which is a great thing. If you are into that, if you really want to, serve God and do that type of thing, you're really going to be able to find your people a lot more in Holland, whereas Grand Rapids is a lot more spread out, and you have a lot more versatility in the Grand Rapids area. So overall, people in Holland, making friends in Holland is still not very hard because generally people are really nice in Holland. they'll wave, they'll be very nice to you when you go to the grocery store. It's easy to find people and meet them on a first name basis. That's a really great thing about Holland. And anyone who's moving there, I've had multiple clients who've moved there, made friends, even joined different Toastmasters to meet people and just have a great time overall when they're moving to the area, just to make themselves at home. And not to forget to mention that a lot of times when you're going to the beach or whatnot, if you're a boater or if you're a beach goer or if you're someone who likes that type of outdoor life, you could definitely meet a lot of people in that area as well. Okay, so with being a real estate agent here, I can't help but to talk about some real estate here in Grand Rapids versus Holland. Now, I'll talk to you a little bit more about the terrain in the areas, and then I'll get into more of the pricing and what you can expect if you're considering buying a home when you come to Holland versus Grand Rapids. Now, Grand Rapids has a lot of different areas, different terrains, different type of vibes or lifestyles in Grand Rapids, whereas Holland has a couple, right? So when it comes to Grand Rapids, you can have your street life type of environment, but you can also have your wine and cheese type of environment in your Cascade, Forest Hills, East Grand Rapids area, kind of the upper echelon, higher end, and lower end. So we have a more dynamic spectrum, but not to forget to mention that in Holland, it's still very affordable as far as homes in that area, as far as the terrain goes, because you have a more average home, homes that were built in the 1930s, 40s, 50s, and then different areas you'll be able to see different timestamps, but a lot of people are renovating properties in Holland as well as Grand Rapids, bringing up different areas. So depending on where you live and what your lifestyle is, reach out to me specifically, and based on what you're comfortable with, I'll be able to show you some of those areas as far as what is conducive to your lifestyle. Now, when it comes to living in Holland, you have a little bit more of lakeshore living, which is a lot higher end, where your average home price is probably somewhere around $600 on the lakeshore, if you're really close to the lakeshore. But if you're more inland, the average is going to be somewhere around $380, $390, somewhere in that range as far as getting your average home in Holland. Now, your average home in Grand Rapids, you're going to be closer to that $300 price range overall, depending on where you live. And if you're going more towards those higher end areas, your average is going to be somewhere around $400 to $450. I did a full video ranking different neighborhoods in Grand Rapids, and as far as price points, it's going to be called I Ranked Grand Rapids Neighborhood. So go ahead and check out the channel. Feel free to subscribe if you want to know more information about Grand Rapids. I'm happy to help. I even put together a free relocation guide, so that way you're more comfortable. You have a little, insider scoop as far as what to expect when you move out here to Grand Rapids. All right, so let's talk about transportation in Holland versus Grand Rapids. We'll start with Holland. And Holland has the MAC transportation system, which is a public transportation system, which pretty much goes anywhere and everywhere in Holland. I think Holland is 6 miles by 6 miles, and you can literally go anywhere in Holland pretty quickly. That's the great thing about living in Holland and living in West Michigan in general. It's not that big, so you can get around very easily, especially if you need to use the MAX transportation, or if you're a biker or you want someone just who likes to walk, you can easily walk around Holland, not get lost. It's very simple and straightforward, so that's a really cool thing about Holland. I don't think I've ever been lost in Holland, ever. I mean, I was born and raised there, but at the same time, it's pretty hard to get lost in Holland unless you're in some cul-de-sac you've never been in or something like that. So that's a really great thing about the transportation in Holland. It's very easy to commute in Holland. Now, when it goes to being in Grand Rapids, you're looking at transportation such as the Dash, which is the downtown area shuttle that you can use for free to get around downtown. A lot of people use it to commute back and forth to work from different carpooling areas. And then you also have the Rapid, which is a paid public transportation that takes you a little bit further out in the outskirts and gets you pretty much anywhere around the Grand Rapids area. I think it goes even to Wyoming area. So that's a great thing for people who need to commute back and forth longer distances and don't have a vehicle. Now, when it comes to commuting and driving, let me tell you this, parking downtown is a real nuisance. I don't think there's anybody who can disagree with how the parking is here. And a lot of people who come downtown, they end up with a ticket, they don't like to come down here, they want to park in the garage, and that's too expensive or whatever. But at the same time, having that heads up, knowing that parking in some of the parking garages is probably going to be a better bet unless you have one of those apps. I think it's called Mo2, that you can use the app, you know, put in your license plate and be able to park down there, and you can adjust it as long as you're there. I think they have a 4 or 6 hour limit, something along those lines, don't quote me. But you can easily use the app to be able to park, and just keep that in mind when you're coming down here. And a lot of people just like to be downtown especially. So keep that in mind. Now, when you're in more of the rural areas or neighborhoods, you're gonna have better parking. It just depends on the actual neighborhood. So keep that in mind when you're coming out here to park as well. Just giving you a heads up, not that it's impossible. I want you to keep an open mind about it, especially if you're coming to visit, but I just didn't want you to be surprised. I'm here to just shoot it to you straight, you know, just tell you how it is. Now, when it comes to parking in Holland, you have a lot more free parking. There's a little bit more lenient, laid back, just because there aren't as many people. So finding parking in Holland is as simple as, where's an open spot? Where's it, you know, where can I park at? You obviously don't want to park there all day long, or you'll leave your car somewhere, because you probably will get a ticket at that point. But it's usually pretty free. I have yet to see a parking meter in Holland, which is really cool. You know, generally if you're at, even the state park, just getting into the state park, you just need a tag, which you can park in there. But at the same time, parking is not really an issue in Holland. So it's something great if you're thinking about, you know, the nuisance of, you know, having parking tickets, especially if you're downtown in the Grand Rapids area. Now, if you're in more of the neighborhood, residential areas, you're not gonna have that issue, because most people have a driveway or something like that. But I'll just keep that, keep that in mind as you're making your way out. Okay, let's get into food and culture. Holland, Michigan versus Grand Rapids. Now, in Holland, obviously it's Dutch Village. We have some really great restaurants such as De Boer's. There is the Windmill Restaurant. There's some really great local chains, Russ's. Shout out to Russ's. You know, if you want to get a $10 meal and, you know, leave with a full stomach, you definitely can do that out at Russ's. And it really is a great thing to know that you have good restaurants in Holland. Now, in the same as everything else, you have a lot more variety here out in Grand Rapids, whereas you have more culture in regards to world markets, as far as like Filipino food or Argentinian food or Chinese, Japanese. There's a lot of Mexican food in Holland, which is really great. Thai food, Chinese food. I love China Inn North. I love going there and getting food out there. And there's some great restaurants in Holland, but like I said, in Grand Rapids, you're gonna have a lot more choices. You're gonna have things such as, like, there's some chains out here. Cooper's Hawk is a big one. If you like fine dining, Leo's Restaurant is a fancy seafood restaurant. Ruth's Chris, the Chop House. You also have Bodie's Chop House. These are great restaurants to go ahead and eat if you want a nice, very nice meal. You have a full spectrum out in Grand Rapids, and a lot of great places as far as local. You have Jamaican food, you have Caribbean food, you have so many different types of food out here. French restaurants. There's so many great things you can expect. There's even a place called Noop, which is a Dutch restaurant, and we actually go there to the rooftop, and it's a really great time to enjoy the view and some great food and drinks. So knowing that the food and culture out here is a lot more diverse in Grand Rapids, you can actually get these food trucks that come out. It's a really great time if you want to just grab a little snack. They have the Grand Rapids Food Festival, which is a huge deal. So you go out there, you know, get a couple tickets, and you can just have a blast, eat right in Calder Plaza, enjoy yourself. There's a lot to look forward to as far as the food and culture in Grand Rapids, because so many people come, especially for ArtPrize, that they're like, you know what? I think I can stick around here for a little while, and they bring their culture here, which Grand Rapids is very open to that. They really want to see, you know, expand the city, get to know and grow more with the people who come and connect, which is a great thing for a small town that is expanding. So if you want to come in, there's a lot of opportunity in regards to growing your business. This is not a huge area, so a lot of people locally like to support new businesses and see what you're all about, and something unique to the marketplace, and really give you your edge when you're coming in here. So it's a really great thing to keep in mind. All right, now when it comes, like I was saying, when it comes to food and culture in Holland, you have a little less. Now, when it comes to that high-end type of food, you have places like the Piper, you have places like Boat Works out in Holland. Downtown, there's a place called 76. Fantastic food. One of my personal favorite places to eat is actually in Holland, and it's called Hops. They have the best sandwiches ever. Like, if you like good hot sandwiches, I had this, they had some kind of pastrami thing, and I was like, oh, so good. So if you want to eat really good food, go downtown Holland. You have a great time. And there's a lot to do in regards to some of the food places. It has some, but like I said, Holland being so much smaller than Grand Rapids, you're gonna be limited. So a lot of people move to Zeeland, they go to Saugatuck, they go kind of spread out and kind of keep it, you know, interesting as far as some of their experiences in regards to food, which is a great thing to keep in mind as well. All right, that's it. I wanted to get into some of the personal thoughts when it comes to moving to Holland versus Grand Rapids. I've lived in both, and I can tell you, Holland's a great place if you're looking to build. I mean, if you're looking to settle down, you're looking to just kind of keep it chill, not a whole lot of commotion, just kind of do your thing, work. If you have a job in Grand Rapids, some people go to get away from all of that. It's a really great place to just kind of settle in and then be able to find your groove once you're in there and create a really nice lifestyle for yourself. Now, when it comes to Grand Rapids, if you're younger, if you're kind of young professional, or if you're just a professional who wants to move up the corporate ladder or move, you know, get your business heard and really be more active, you're gonna want to be in the Grand Rapids area in regards to that, because there's a lot of support systems. There's things such as Start Garden, which is a company that actually helps new emerging companies take the next step. They fund, you know, it's almost like Shark Tank, but locally. They're able to fund you if you have a great idea that's going to contribute to the area, and they really back their people up, which is a great thing to know about the Grand Rapids area overall. If you're kind of looking to build, if you like big buildings, you know, you want to be a part of where everything's happening, everything's cool and fun, Grand Rapids is going to be a lot better for you. However, you can still be really close to Grand Rapids, going to areas such as Granville, Hudsonville, Wyoming, Rockford, East Grand Rapids, Forest Hills area. You can still be within that area and still get the feel, you know, go down to Grand Rapids every once in a while and enjoy yourself downtown as well. So I just wanted to give you those are my thoughts on comparing Holland to Grand Rapids, Michigan. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Again, for Things to Do and Sights to See, this is Live Great TV. I am the official host to Living Great in Grand Rapids and the West Michigan area. This is Vaughn Greathouse. I'm happy to help. I've helped tons of families in real estate move from one place out to the West Michigan area, and I absolutely love it. So feel free to text me. My number, my email is going to be on the screen right now. So get a hold of me, text me, I'll be cool with you, just let me know. And also don't forget that free relocation guide to get the inside scoop on what you can't miss out, what you shouldn't miss out on when you're coming to the West Michigan area. That's it for this video. Until next time, we will see you on the next video. 'Cause I got high hopes.